What's up, everyone? Welcome to the ShockCast. My name's Luke Contaldi. Joining us today, we got Giuseppe Nelva, finally back from
Hello, everyone.
TGS.
I'm not back from TGS. I'm still in Tokyo.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
explains the new format you got going on with your camera.
Well, yeah, that's the only place I can place my computer on. So yeah, you're gonna have to see me against the lights because that's all there is to it here.
It's alright. It gives you a very angelic glow.
Yeah.
So when you getting back?
In beginning of October,
Okay.
like October 4th. But you're supposed to know.
I don't keep a
You're
schedule
fine.
of your calendar.
You're fine.
Um, all right. Also with us, we got Ryan Meitzler. How you doing, Ryan?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
impressed that I'm impressed that Giuseppe's not in two places at once. So
I've always gotten that impression that he actually is just multiple people disguised as a person based on how often he posts.
it's like when you see a person in a trench coat and really they're just three cats that are in a trench coat. It's like
That's very funny. No, seriously.
All right. Well, today we're talking Japanese games. Of course, we just went through Tokyo Game Show. We have a resident expert on this, Giuseppe. They're on the scene, obviously. So we're gonna get his impressions of what the show was like this year, what his favorite things were, what he noticed, what surprised him, all of that fun stuff, and of course, Ryan and I will react to it. But first, let's start off by saying what we've been playing lately.
React like
now I'll probably just nod my head and smile because I won't know what's going on.
come on.
It's like
Come on. Well, you need to learn stuff because otherwise I'm gonna fire you.
Oh yes, in that case, we will have everything learned. All right, so let's start
Easy.
off. Just what we've been playing lately. Ryan, what have you been playing?
so most recently in terms of review stuff, I think I covered it on last week's show, but Dragon Quest VII on 3DS. Most recent thing I finished was The Bunker, which is a 2016 FMV game, which I never would have thought I would have played, but it was actually pretty decent. A couple things here and there I wasn't a huge fan of, but it was still really cool. And trying to get back into The Witcher 3 because I want to play the DLC, but the last couple weeks I've been busy, so I'm like going through Witcher withdrawal right now.
Understandable. All right, so what are you lined up to play next?
I'm going to be playing next a double dose of Telltale Game stuff. I'm going to be playing the next episode of their Batman series and the 8th episode of Minecraft Story Mode. So I'm probably going to start on those, hopefully after we're done here. I hope.
All right, sounds good. How about you, Giuseppe? Have you been playing
Well,
anything on the Vita?
I haven't been playing on the Vita.
I don't know. I just imagine anyone in Tokyo
Actually,
is playing the Vita.
the funny thing. The funny thing is that you don't see many people playing the Vita even in Tokyo. I know that the Vita is still pretty popular here,
Right.
but mostly even like in on the like on the subway and stuff like on the train, you see mostly people playing on like mobile or 3DS. One I've seen like I've been here more or less a week.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I move around, I'm making myself coffee. I've seen I've been here almost or a week by now, actually more than a week, and I've seen someone with a Vita on the train once, uh, and I was like almost about to hug him and say, "Brother." I know
They're,
someone.
they're probably all at home playing Persona right now, so.
Yeah, but it's not on Vita.
Mm-hmm.
It's on PS4. But yeah, probably yeah, all like the PlayStation gamers are playing Persona that sold like a gazillion copies. Like it sold 370,000 copies.
In
which
Japan,
is
so that's
very
huge.
good for Japan. Yeah, that well,
Yeah.
it's not huge. Like, well, it is the best selling Persona game to date
Mm-hmm.
for Japan. So it's still good. It's not Final Fantasy numbers, of course, but the Persona is a little bit of a more niche game,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very good, and it actually pushed the PS4 quite a lot. Like PS4 had an interesting ride lately because, like, normally when you don't get like when you get a new model of PS4, they don't just empty the shop with the old ones. Like here in Japan, in the past few weeks, the PS4 sold the Xbox One levels. which is really really bad because there
Right.
was no PS4 in the shelf. There was none to find. Like it
Right.
sold like 500 units a week. So now it's sold almost 100,000 in a week, and that's mostly due to Persona 5, I think. I was a bit surprised um, because the PS4 Pro has been announced. So I was expecting people not to buy the PS4 Slim because, like, in a month you can get the Pro, which is more powerful and cost not very much more, really, right?
Not too much, but
It's
has
$100 here. Like it's only $100 more.
And that's pretty much the same exchange in Japan, so it's not much more. For it, I
Yeah.
would never buy if I didn't have a PS4. I'd wait, definitely,
personally
definitely.
I would too, but how has I mean I don't know necessarily the electronics culture in Japan
Mm,
at the moment. Has 4K TV really proliferated there?
But it's not really just 4K. Like
No, but
PS4 can PS4 can well, here people have more 4K TVs than in the West, I think.
okay.
Like, but in any case, I like for PS4 has advantages even when you don't have a 4K TV. So,
Yeah.
but in any case, I'm digressing a little bit. You asked me what I was playing.
Yes.
Actually, I played a lot of games at Tokyo Game Show, like a whole lot, but nothing like in a extensive fashion, of course, because of course when you're on a show floor, you don't play much. Like you play the game for like 15 minutes tops, and if you're lucky, but that's pretty much it. You don't get to stay there and play some. I had a lot of time with The Last Guardian,
Mhm.
Sony. I actually went into the Sancta Sanctorum, the Sony Computer Entertainment headquarters. So it's kind of realistic in that point of view because an animal will not respond like robotically to your control. So if you call it an animal, first of all, it won't understand you, or maybe it will, but not really like a human would do. So it won't like immediately react and come immediately to you as soon as you snap your fingers, right? So the Trico will feel like he's an animal, like it won't respond immediately to your command. It won't be you. It will a little bit of convincing, for instance, to make it move sometimes,
Mhm.
which is nice on one point of view. On the other point of view, I can see a lot of people getting frustrated at it
Mhm.
because they expect a game in which their controls are being obeyed, basically, right?
Right.
So I'm not sure how that part will be received. But it looks fantastic, and we'll see how people react. So let's move on with the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Like, well, let's talk real
Toby,
people things. Go ahead. Let's start. What? Just start with the basic thing. What is the favorite thing you saw at the podcast? Not the podcast. The
at the
TGS.
podcast,
Tokyo Game Show.
you crapping out. No, well, TGS was really like, good this year in a way, and really strange in another way. There weren't very many announcements at all, but that's normal because we just had Gamescom and E3. So Tokyo Game Show has become less a matter of announcement and more a matter of having things playable, things that are already announced playable, and there were a lot of things playable on show, like really a lot. So it's difficult to say a real favorite, but there were some highlights. Well, first of all, the two that I already said, especially Gravity Rush was really great. And not just what I played. Those bastards, Sony, they had us play like the demo that they had on the show floor, which is basically a tutorial,
Okay.
and that's all they made us play. But they actually shown us without letting us play the actual full game, which is like a million times better.
Right.
Like it's the most three-dimensional open world I ever seen. Like you can fly around freely, up, down, back, forward, whenever you want, wherever you want. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
And you fly into the clouds. The clouds are all rendered. The colors are fantastic. You can go literally from city to city. They are all floating cities, and yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic.
Right.
And I was like, why the hell don't you making me play this thing? I want to play it. I want to record it so I can show it to my readers instead of just showing it to me like this. That this is torture. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's like that. Then I played Gran Turismo Sport quite a bit, and I was actually surprised how much it got better since the last time I tried it. Not much graphically. Everyone is like bitching a little bit on the graphics on Gran Turismo Sport, but Gran Turismo Sport has never been like a super graphical powerhouse. They want a 60 FPS, clean 60 FPS, and they want and it's mostly like a cold, precise simulation as far away console simulation can go.
Okay.
And it feels really good on in your hand when you play it, like the driving and all the physics and everything. Of course, it's not as full-fledged simulator because it's still a console game. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't sell as much if it was like a real simulator. But it is actually really, really pleasant to play, and I love my time with it. I finally got my hands on a playable build of Horizon Zero Dawn, and that was absolutely beautiful. That was
Very jealous.
really, really, really good.
Now-
What I actually played that was kind of forgetting to say for some reason, I actually got to play like an hour of Final Fantasy 15, which is
Okay.
like bonkers good. Like they published it. Well, it didn't get our game show for nothing. Like,
Yeah.
If you have seen our if you people have read our DualShockers awards, it basically got everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it got best PS4, best Xbox One, best RPG, and Game of Show. And then the Reader's Choice Awards that we didn't choose, you choose it, and personally you choose right. Like the game felt really polished. It felt really smooth. Like I think the frame rate is really close to 30 FPS, like very stable now. At least I think it is very stable in the places that I tried.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, it's near the beginning of the game, so there weren't like really super duper great battles like with millions of creatures on screen and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how the full game performs. But the game felt so good. Like whoa, I'm like, oh yeah. If they honestly, if they manage to maintain the same level of quality through the whole game, this is going to be a classic, like really.
Great, because my hype for that game is really off the rails. You're telling me it's going to live up to the hype?
I can't say because I played just the first hour of the game.
Right.
So it's a JRPG. So the first hour tells something, but doesn't tell the whole picture.
Right.
If the pacing is what really matters a lot on MMORPGs, and the pacing is something that you can keep through the whole game, but you could not. So I can say, and I would go out on a limb here, the first hour of the game is better to me. Sorry, my phone is for some reason. Stop, damn it. I put my alarm and then it's continuing to like ring. I was saying the first hour of the game, it's better on my end for my taste than the Witcher 3. The first hour of the Witcher 3.
Wow.
Which is saying a lot.
Yeah, that is saying a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, if they manage to keep this quality through the whole game, which I'm not saying they will because I have no way to know, then we have an instant classic in our head. Like really, and I know Ryan has been playing The Witcher 3 for a while now, so he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It really
for sure.
Great. Like The Witcher 3 is great. The Witcher 3 is great, but lacks companions. You're Geralt, and you go around as Geralt. You have sometimes someone following you around, but I kind of feel better when I have a group of people with me. Final Fantasy 15 is a little bit of a sausage fest.
Yeah.
It's all guys.
As a lot of people I hear call them the bros, pretty much in the game.
Yeah, it feels a bit weird for me to have all male characters, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting for Final Fantasy because they always usually have a pretty like good mix of like a lot of female characters.
Love
Yeah.
interest.
So
and
this is like
right.
Exactly.
yeah, but even that, I think it's just interesting to see a Final Fantasy game where it's an all entirely male cast. Like it's it's interesting.
Yeah, there's gonna be guest characters that are female. There is. I've seen a lot of Cindy from on the first part of the game, and this was not the demo actually. They told me that it was actually the game. It cut off after 2 hours, so there wasn't the whole content of the game, but it was the game in itself. Like they just added a cut off so that people couldn't go on and play the whole game. But it is the full game, and they're just going to continue to improve it through the time they are left.
Okay.
Finally, if you want more female, then you're gonna have to play Your no Naikuni 2, which is Knights of Azure 2 by Koei Tecmo. I actually interviewed the producer of the game, which I did that one as a all female cast. And I asked him, is there going to be any like relevant male character? Is it going to be all female? And it was like, who needs males in the cast? Let's all have just females. That's perfectly fine. We want to all have all girls. And see? So if you want all females, that's where you're gonna go. It's gonna come out this year as well, something like that. Well, this year in Japan and next year I think in the West. But I've done a lot of interviews as well, which they will roll onto the site, like slowly, like gradually. We got the interview with Itadaka Miyazaki yesterday, which came with a little bit of a controversy.
What was the controversy?
Basically, when I did the interview with Miyazaki-san, I was. We were basically, it was a roundtable interview, so it was multiple panel. It was me, it was Brian Ashton from Kotaku, which is very, he lives in Japan, and so he's fluent in Japanese, which is funny, because here is funny, and if you go read the interview on Kotaku, he actually mentions it, because basically what the translator, basically Miyazaki said that he doesn't feel working on Dark Souls 3 on Dark Souls series anymore himself. Okay, he's okay with letting other people at From Software play with it, like work on it, but he doesn't feel like working on Dark Souls itself anymore himself. And the translator softened it a lot. The translation was very much like softened, which is strange because the translator was from Bandai Namco. It wasn't from Software, but anyway. And Ashcraft was like, no, he didn't say this. And everyone was like, whoa. He didn't say this. He said this. And the translator was like, he kind of comforted with Miyazaki a little bit, and then it was, thank you for torturing me.
Oh my god.
And Ashcraft was like, I'm just keeping you honest. I actually like that a lot. Ashcraft is a funny guy. But basically, that wasn't the controversy. That was just the beginning of it. There was basically him, someone from GameSpot, someone from IGN, and we were all together with Miyazaki and the translator. So everyone heard the same things. And actually, 2 people between the audience were 3 people within the audience. Well, 2.5 were fluent in Japanese. I can understand Japanese pretty well myself, so 2.5.
Okay.
We didn't really need a translator. So we were asking what kind of games From Software is making in the future, and Miyazaki was like, we're making one game that's gonna fulfill the expectation of the fans. So it's probably gonna be a Dark Souls-like game, pretty much. He didn't say that, but he said that it is going to fulfill the expectations in a straightforward manner. Then they say that we're doing a weird game. A game that people will think that it's weird that we're doing. So, and he didn't give any indication about that. I don't know about it. I asked him if it was a Majoko game, which means that it's basically a game that's very bright colored with magical girls. He was just laughing at
Right.
Of course. He said, "Oh, we need more experience before we can tackle that genre." It's probably not so bad. Miyazaki is very funny, by the way. When he talks, it's like a Care Bear. It's like you want to hug him when you're in front of him, because he's very It's very nice. But then the controversy kind of come because then I asked him about Armor Core, that they had gone silent on the series, and Miyazaki told me literally, Armor Core wa tsukutemasu, which literally means we are making right now, because it's currently Armor Core. Like, it's literally that. It can't be interpreted in any other way. So of course I reported about it, and like an hour after the report came out, I get that I find out that From Software sent a press release to the Japanese media saying that they didn't say that. That they say that he expressed the intention of continuing the series in the future, but nothing has been decided, which unfortunately is not true. And yesterday, actually, Bandai Namco asked us to take down the report, mostly because of embargo reason. We had a slight misunderstanding about the embargo, but yesterday we published the interview with that part still in, because of course we also included the notice from Software, but journalistically we have to report the interview exactly how it went, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, and the other outlets that were there also reported the same thing. So it's not us. It's not that we misunderstood. Miyazaki-san say that we are making Armor Core. So, and you can read it on DualShockers, you can read it on Kotaku, you can read it on IGN, you can read it on all the outlets that were there, because that's what he said. And I don't know why From Software decided to backtrack on that, but it's their prerogative, of course. Maybe Miyazaki didn't mean what he said, but that's what he said, and I personally think he meant that. But then when he went back, someone told him, "Oh, you weren't supposed to say this, even if he's the president of the company." So sometimes things go that way, and it was a little bit of a controversy, but there was a very instructional and interesting interview. I encourage you to read. It's on the front page right now. Now you know the what happens behind the scene there. Sometimes these kind of things happen, but we all understood that. And Ashcraft, which is the one that was most fluent in Japanese, is been living in Japan for I don't know how many years. He was absolutely sure himself of what he said. And myself, like, Armor Core wa tsukutemasu is basically the most basic confirmation he could give without any interpretation. That tsukutemasu is what you can say, for instance, when you're making yourself coffee. You say coffee with tsukutemasu. I'm making coffee. That's current. That's now. There's no other interpretation.
Right.
So you take in if you're an Armor Core fan, you take that in consideration, and you take From Software's notice in consideration as well. We include them both for to be correct, but it's your decision what you want to believe. Basically, that's all there is to it. But yeah, that was a little bit of a controversy, but it was a very nice interview. I'm very curious to know what the weird game is, really. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I don't know why my alarm is continuing to go off when I turn it off. Sorry. I had a fanfare in my alarm and it sucked. But yeah, I have no idea what the weird game could be, really. You guys have any idea?
No. I mean, I think it would be cool just to see a new IP, because I know they've said Dark Souls, they're not really planning to return to that, and I think Dark Souls obviously has been really popular, but I think it would be cool to see them do something new and different. Yeah, so whatever it is.
He say that he's not planning to return to that. He said a little bit strange, basically. He said that I don't want to do it.
But right. Yeah. I think it depends on Bandai Namco.
Yeah. No, it's not in Bandai Namco. It's actually Armor Core. From Software publishes the Dark Souls series by itself in Japan. Bandai Namco just jumps on for publishing in the West. So the decision to make a new Souls game is basically entirely from Software.
Right.
Interesting. I figured Bandai Namco would probably really strongly encourage them to do it because Dark Souls has just been growing in popularity.
But the decision is theirs because they're the publisher. Like From Software is the
Right,
publisher.
yeah.
Right.
What I'm wondering is that the one that they say that it will fulfill the expectations of the fun and straightforward manner could be Bloodborne 2.
That'd be interesting.
I'm
I don't know
sure.
if that's surprising though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Sa-
It makes a lot of money for Sony.
Seraphim in the comments says they're probably developing Sneak King 2. That would be an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Everyone would be surprised. Can him that.
That is true. I can say that is true. Then we can expect a few more interviews from us. You can expect an interview about Gravity Rush 2 with Keiichi Toyama, the director. You can expect an interview about Berserk with Koinuma-san, which is the producer and basically one of the big bosses at Koei Tecmo. Then you can expect the interview about Night of Azure 2 and a few others that I can't even say for now.
Right.
I'm going to say there is a game that is probably off the radar of many, which I actually loving, which is Root Letter, which is a
Right.
visual novel, but it's not really visual novel. Like it's kind of visual novel, but it's kind of a mystery game itself. You have to do investigations. You could say it's more akin to Ace Attorney. Like
Okay. I was thinking off the top of my head, Danganronpa.
no, it's more like Ace Attorney.
Okay.
Well, Ace Attorney is in its core a visual novel, actually.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, you basically have to. There has been a murder in the past, and you basically have to use some clues and find witnesses in this little city in a picturesque part of Japan, which is the most awesome part of the game because they basically reproduced that part of Japan very closely. It's not Tokyo, it's not the Japan that you see normally.
Right.
And they actually produced the people of that. They actually picked up real people and reproduced them as part of the game. So that's very interesting. It's gonna come out from P-Cube, which is the same crazy people that are localizing Valkyrie Drive Bikuni.
Yes.
And I actually interviewed the producer, and he had a lot of interesting things to say. Actually, the director at Kadokawa Game, and they had a lot of things to say. It honestly was a candidate for our awards until I noticed that it was already released in Japan, which by rule kind of put it off the table for awards. But it's really interesting. Unless you're put off by the visual novel structure, but if you like Ace Attorney, you're probably gonna like this one as well, gameplay wise. That was impressive, but there was so many impressive things. I finally tried Drive Club VR.
Oh.
Drive Club
How is that?
works really nice. It actually works really nice. I'm not completely sold on VR yet. You guys don't know that, but
Yeah.
that one works well. It's nice. It's fun. The glare of the sun is a little strong. Like if you go
Right.
see, I actually filmed some of my gameplay. There was a place in the urban track in which there is a very big glare of the sun right in your face, and it's in the corner. So you basically have to go blind into the corner because you don't see where the hell the little pillar that delimited the corner is. So you basically have to either go wide or go blind. But
Right.
it's very fun. I think that game may sell me definitely on VR.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Everyone, of course, praises Drive Club for fidelity. Does that translate over to the VR headset? Because I know that, at least in my experience, it's more muddled.
The graphics are a little bit worse, but you don't notice it because you're like the whole immersiveness of it all is very like it impacts a lot on your eyes more than you don't really notice the small flaws in the graphics. So of course the graphics are downgraded a little bit. They have to be because of course you have to render at like 3 times the frame rate. It's 90 FPS, I think. That's what that's what most PlayStation VR games are,
Right.
and the original game is 30. So rendering 3 times the frames on the same consoles, and it wasn't running on PlayStation Pro. No game on the show floor. They were all running on the normal PlayStations.
Okay, that's
So
good to hear.
so yeah, they had to downgrade a little bit the graphics, but you don't notice that much. The only thing I have to say about PlayStation VR, which is something that it's the same I've seen last year, and which I hope they would have fixed. It's a little bit made for people with small noses.
Oh, I got a huge nose.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
It's a big problem. It's
Uh,
my big Italian, Southern
like
Italy nose.
they have they have a little rubber thingy on your nose here that is made to like keep it like tight. But on the other hand, if your nose is big, it will push even if you like you have a button to regulate to push the visor part back and forth.
hmm
But even if you push it all the way to your face, that part will push your nose will push that little part a little bit further from your face, and it will be less like you will see a little blurry. So basically, what I had to do was keep to see it perfectly was keeping the thing with my hand against my head. And what I will have to do when I buy the PlayStation VR is that I'm going to have to attach the second elastic or the second band at the bottom of it
Okay.
so that it will put the bottom against my face. That's the only way I can think of. Because there was no way to keep it perfectly attached to my face on the bottom part. And of course, if it's not perfectly attached to your face, it is a little blurry. Like the whole set is completely is attached to your face to your head only on the top. So if you have something like your nose that's pushing from the bottom, it will push away a little bit. There is no way around it other than putting something that keeps it attached to your face.
Right.
I don't know if my nose is really, really big, as you can see. So I don't know if your nose is maybe a little smaller.
Mine's up there. Trust me.
Yeah, but you'll possibly have to put a second band, and I don't know how well that is gonna be for comfort.
No,
This is
but-
this is for PlayStation VR, right? For the
Yes.
headset, or
Yeah.
I'm trying it for the first time tomorrow at an event, so I guess I'll report
you
back
can-
once I do that.
Well,
so.
your nose is not as big as mine, though, so we'll see. But it does look that it's made for Japanese noses.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm sure there will be fixes. I mean, I was one of the people who played their
this
PlayStation
is
1
hardware.
upside down.
Well, this is hardware.
No,
fix,
no,
not-
I know that. There's always like some sort of fix among the community. Turn your PlayStation 1 upside down so the laser
you
reads it.
mean like attaching a band to the bottom of the thing.
Exactly. Yeah, there will be something, maybe even something sold third party to help fix us
I don't-
big nosed people.
I also tried Farpoint, by the way, in PlayStation VR, which is very, very nice too.
Right.
It was very much like Starship Troopers in VR, basically.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, in the comments, Seraphim brought up a pretty interesting point. He said, "I actually canceled the PSVR and used the money to pay for the Pro. Still iffy on the VR in general. I think Ace Combat will sell me on it, though. I can imagine
that
that being...
wasn't playable. That disappeared completely.
Did
Like,
it?
Oh, really?
Like, I mean, Bandai Namco completely forgot about it. There was no presence of Ace Combat 7 in Tokyo Game Show at all, and in the latest, there wasn't E3, it wasn't at Gamescom. I don't know. Maybe we'll see it again at PlayStation Experience because it wasn't there. It was gone.
Yeah.
I got
Seraphim also said PlayStation nose grips from Mad Cats should be an accessory they sell. So it was like they're the ones to do that. So
No, you know what we should do. What they should do, they should put together PlayStation VR and the Nozzles Rift from Ubisoft.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
perfect.
Well, actually, I was offered to. Well, actually, they had like at Gamescom they had Nozzle Rift. It was there physically. You could use it if you want. But when I actually tried the fracture butthole. They basically there weren't enough units. There were only 2 units.
Mhm.
So, and I got there a little late. So they told me that they didn't have any one for me. I just could play the game. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. I don't want to try this thing. I don't want to like throw up in front of everyone.
Right.
I've seen and heard people gag really hard on that thing. So yeah, that's the kind of VR I don't want to try, definitely. But yeah, let's see. Do you guys have any comments so far?
Uh,
I'm the only one talking, and I kind of feel bad.
yeah, but that's. I mean, you are the one there with the experience, so that's
Yeah, but
fine.
you've
Yeah.
seen the video, you've seen everything. Come on.
I think my main question is just because I know you've been at Tokyo Game Show a couple times and a couple other like international events. Like how does Tokyo Game Show compare to things like Gamescom or things like that? Like how is it different?
It's more like it's definitely more made for consumers. So if you look at Gamescom, well, more E3. E3 is like a completely press-facing event. So
Right. Yeah.
sometimes consumers are invited in a way, like they let them in, but they are in very small numbers, and it's mostly a
Right.
press-facing event. Gamescom is kind of in the middle. It has
Yeah.
half for press and half for consumer. Like it has a section of the show set apart for the press. Only the press and media and business people can go in.
Right.
Like on the other end, Tokyo Game Show is definitely for the consumer. Like it doesn't even have a press part set in. Like if a developer want to have a press part, they either have to do like a separate part of their booth. And in that case, there is a lot of noise. It's not the best solution. Or they actually have to rent a room in a nearby hotel. Like most of the press presentation are doing. There is a ton of high-rise hotels that are very nice on besides the venue. And so developers and publisher rent rooms there, and you go there and you do your presentation. But oh, by the way, I interviewed also Kenichiro Takaki, which is the director and producer of Senran Kagura.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you'll have to wait for that interview for reasons.
Reasons.
Yeah, reasons.
That's promising. I got a question for you, Giuseppe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was deep down there? I
No,
know nothing official.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't there at all. It wasn't there at all, and I was surprised.
Did you ask about it?
I asked about it to the people at Camp. Like I kind of prodded a little bit, but they just smiled and said nothing. So
Yeah.
I didn't have any formal interview with Capcom because Capcom did not have a presence for Western journalists. So yeah, it was Capcom's presence was very Japanese centric, as much as this is a little bit of a anecdote again. I went to deliver our prizes, right, to all the booth.
Yeah.
So I go to Capcom won our best 3DS game with Monster Hunter Stories, which is really, really nice. And I hope they announce it for the West soon because it's really nice. It looks great, even on 3DS. And you know I'm not fond of 3DS's graphics because they are really antiquated. But that one probably is one of the best looking games on 3DS I've seen in a long while. So I brought them the prize, our little triangle.
Right.
And they started talking like between the booth stuff, and they were like, "Oh my God, what do we do with this? Let's go ask our superiors." And they kept me there for 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then the booth chief comes back and says and tells them, "Oh yeah, if this was a prize from a Japanese outlet, that would be any problem. But we have to get clearance from the producers. It's a Western site to actually attach it to the booth and whatnot." Of course, they didn't tell me this, but they were talking in Japanese right in front of me.
Right.
And so basically, we got a little bit discriminated because we are a Western site. And it's amazing. And it's amazing how much people tell you right in front of your face when they don't know you can understand Japanese. But they were just doing their duty, so it's not like it's not like I was bent out of ways or offended. I was like, okay, no, well, see ya. Have your prize, and let's say that other publishers were much more enthusiastic about getting their prizes. Like when I brought them to Tabata-san for Final Fantasy 15, it was like really nice about it. It came out of the booth like it was just after their stage event. It came out of the booth like a thunderbolt, like ran out of the booth, literally gave me like a slap on my chest like this, and was like he hugged me. Was like very happy. He has a very strong high five. Like the Badasan, you don't see it because he is like not super big. The Badasan is built. He's
Really?
yeah. Oh my God, he has a super strong hug, and when he high fives you, he's like really built up. Yes, he's really muscular. Yeah, I think he goes to the gym or something, which is probably something you need when you do like your is
Right. It's a very
do his
stationary kind of
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
Yeah, but he's really built up. It's muscular. Like it was like whoa, Tabata-san, you put on some muscle. It must be all the hard work he did, but
Right.
he was probably the nicest person in at the event for the prize he got. Like our prizes we're not a big site, so
Right.
our prizes are not a big are not a big deal. You get a prize from IGN, you get a prize from which didn't really at Tokyo Game Show they don't really do it. But if you get a prizes from big outlets, that's definitely, let's be realistic, much more of an honor for developers. But still, he was very happy about it. Very, that's it's nice to see when we do prizes to acknowledge the hard work developers do. We do the awards for that because I think we think that developers work very very hard and sometimes their work doesn't get recognized enough. So it's nice to see people genuinely happy when they receive that, even if our prices are not that great. And I have to say, guys, you voted it. The Reader's Choice Award are what made Tabata-san the happiest.
Oh, that's
It was,
great.
when I gave them, I gave it to them. I gave it to him like one at a time.
Hmm.
And when I pulled out Reader's Choice Awards, like it lit up. It was like, yeah.
I'm sure that's
Really happy
much.
about it.
That must be
But yeah,
much better for him. Knowing
yeah,
that.
Reader's Choice Award is the probably the best ones, and I'm
Right.
really
Yeah.
happy that we started doing it. Honestly, we kind of didn't do it before because we didn't know how many people would respond to it. But we got a very, very big response, and I'm very happy about it. So thank you everyone for voting. If you voted, thank you very much. And we're going to do every single time from now on, every single award. And we're gonna try to have awards and more convention because it's nice to give back a little bit to developers and give you guys the ability to vote what you like the most.
So
Uh,
Ryan, that's gonna be on you over at Comic Con.
oh yeah, I'll
Well, I
come.
mean, there's only going to be about 5 games there, so
Yeah,
there's not a ton. But
I was talking about E3, which we
Yeah, of
normally
course.
do stuff like
right,
that.
yeah.
Comic Con at least in New York doesn't have much of a gaming presence.
No,
So
it doesn't.
No, it's pretty light on games.
yeah, exactly. But we're gonna
It's
try.
basically like the big ones there are going to be Capcom and Square Enix are like the biggest companies there, so that's about it. And then
Yeah, but
Namco Bandai too.
if we give too many awards to Square Enix, they're gonna get their head big.
Right.
Well, something that was also very impressive was also Nier Automata. What they showed, it wasn't playable, unfortunately. What they showcased on the stage show, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos. It's incredible. Like they have like this camera panning that goes really, really, really back, and it almost looks like a shooter game. And the fighting was like pure Platinum Games, super stylish combat, amazing. Yeah. In any case, the Square Enix had a very, very strong presence. I have to say. Their
Speaking of
games were
Square Enix, though,
yeah.
did you get this is a question from Seraphim in the comments? He says, did you get to play World of Final Fantasy?
Yes.
How was
it? If you like the classic turn-based Final Fantasy, you're probably gonna love this one.
Oh,
Like,
that's
and-
totally me. Awesome.
Yeah, it's probably yeah. Well, it's a little bit like it's not like all of them. It has the ATB gauge basically. So it's pretty classic Final Fantasy and it works really really well. I liked it a lot. The visual maybe are a little rough sometimes because the textures of the environments are a bit so. Like they're not super high resolution. The characters are awesome. The environments a little bit less. The environments are more like typical Japanese game, basically. But if you play it on Vita, especially, I think it's gonna look really nice because the screen is smaller and all that. But yeah, definitely, it was a very good game. It got our best PS Vita game for a reason, definitely. I also played the Kingdom, the new Kingdom
No.
Hearts. Not Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts.
that got delayed to next year.
What?
It did. I missed
Yeah,
that.
it got delayed. Yeah, I think it got
When?
delayed to like early next year, like
When?
recently, within the last week.
Oh,
What?
I think here I missed that part.
Yeah, I think it got delayed to like early next year. So.
That really is a great showing for what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to look like. That just went
Oh
an extra
God.
year on my calendar.
So in what 2025 we'll get it?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get Cyberpunk 2070 before we get Kingdom Hearts 3.
We're gonna get Hideo Kojima's game before we get friggin' Kingdom Hearts 3.
Hideo Kojima, guys. Hideo Kojima was great. Was great. I actually didn't get to meet him. I actually just passed by him, but what he did on stage was the burn of the burns.
Oh yeah.
You guys, basically what happened? I was there. I was like bonkers. Someone actually asked him, if Metal Gear Survive was his idea, and even the host, this lady that was hosting the event, was like, "Oh my God, this is a bit of a interesting question." And he asked that, and Kojima was like, make his face and was like, "Can't get night." I was like, I know nothing about it. It's not. I don't care. Basically,
Right.
it's not literally don't care about it. Basically, I don't care. I'm not connected with the game. I don't think zombies are gonna come out in the Metal Gear world because it's a espionage political fiction game. And it was like completely dismissing Metal Gear Survive, which is pretty much a cash-in, nothing more. And on stage, and the comments went crazy on Nico Nico.
Right.
Like you saw, Nico Nico basically have these comments that are scrolling on top of the screen, and you saw the screen completely covered with comments, people laughing. In Japan, basically, you have this internet lingo that when you make it like a lot of W's, like a line of W's that's laughing because it's warao, which means laughing.
Okay.
Also, when you like 8, it's applause, and a in Japanese is still laughing because ha 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 ha.
Right.
And the comments were full of this, and there was just a fraction, because if you see the scroll of the comments, it was crazy. Everyone's laughing and making fun of Konami and all that, because Konami had basically pretty much nothing in this show. They had PES.
They've really decimated themselves. So
they had PES. They have Yu-Gi-Oh and basically nothing else.
Yeah, that's. I got an email. I think they're bringing that to Comic-Con, and that's it. That's like all there is.
They've got Pro Evolution Soccer going on, which I'm enjoying.
I didn't even bother, to be honest, because I'm bad with soccer games. But the only thing the only good thing they had was really the booth companions, like the ladies at the booth. They were really nice. They had really nice costumes. Awesome. That's all. But yeah, Konami was probably the weakest in between the big publishers.
Right.
They had quite a nice presence. Namco Bandai had a lot of stuff as well. Nothing super big, but they had Summer Lesson was nice. Summer Lesson, I actually finally managed to try it, and it was really nice. It was really interesting. Possibly one of the best games in VR, even if I wouldn't consider it very much of a game itself. More like an experience, but it's nice. It works very well. Ikari-chan works it feels really natural when she comes in and talks to you. Like it feels like very much of a real girl, even if the graphics and the animation are not super realistic, but feels like a real anime girl basically that's talking to you and all that. It's very nicely made. I'm looking forward to actually try the full thing of that.
All right, so I think we got a good picture of what TGS was like this year.
Yeah, if I had to say everything, I go on for 2 weeks and spoil all the content we have. Like guys, stay tuned on DualShockers because we really have a ton of content coming still on the Tokyo Game Show. Some is out, but there is still a lot to come. So you guys stay tuned, and you're gonna have a lot of interesting things to read in the next few next week or so.
All right, perfect. All right, so I think we could wrap up there. If you have any burning questions about anything at TGS,
Yeah,
make
ask
sure
me.
to leave it in
No,
the
ask.
comments.
Let's give them like 5 minutes to ask.
Oh yeah,
Some more
Oh, I
questions.
think Seraphim actually asked in the comments if you got to play World of Final Fantasy.
we didn't we
Yeah,
mention
I
that?
did. I mentioned it
Yeah,
where you sleep.
yeah,
No,
we
sorry.
talked about that.
Okay, sorry. It was a lot of Final Fantasy talk, so. Oh, and then Seraphim also mentioned, so Konami, they could have shown Metal Gear Pachinko, but they did not, I guess, so.
No, because but there is a reason for that.
Okay.
That's because Metal Gear, the Pachinko doesn't. It's not part of Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show is just for console and mobile games.
Right, yeah.
Pachinkos have their own show, which I don't remember when it is, but they have their own show, and you'll see a lot of Metal Gear Pachinko there. I can guarantee
Yeah.
that.
I think the other comment that stuck out to me, I think, was earlier that Seraphim also said about Nier Automata, and he said Nier Automata is looking absolutely fantastic. I try
yeah.
not to look at a whole lot of videos since I want it all to be new to me when I play it, but I couldn't help it with Nier. So I don't know if you mentioned that before.
But there is the videos that you put up from the event are like not from the story, so you're not like spoiling anything. It's mostly showing you how the gameplay is, and they're really worth watching. I was like, whoa, which is why they
Yeah.
got biggest shocker award, because honestly, when I saw that, I was in the press room because I was covering the live stream because I needed to record it, so I wasn't there in the middle of the crowd. I seriously stood up and I said, "What the fuck?" in the middle of the press room. And
Right.
there was all these Japanese journalists that looking at me. What the fuck is this gaijin doing in the middle of the press room, screaming like that, like a little girl? But yeah, that was really nice.
All right, so we got two final questions, both from the stream. Dallo says, "Did you get to play Resident Evil 7?"
Yes, I did, but it was pretty much the same demo that I played on at Gamescom, and it's not the game. Like that part, the part that you also saw in the um, in the streams, which we have one up, is basically a videotape you discover in the game and you play it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the game itself. So it's really difficult to judge the game itself from that because it's hide and seek. So it's scary, it's creepy. Well, I guess I have a little bit of a higher tolerance to scary. I'm mostly weak to mostly to jump scares, and that one doesn't have very many jump scares. The scares are kind of telegraphed.
That
So-
said, the occasional when I played it my first time, the occasional popping out ghost woman,
Oh yeah.
that scares the shit out of me because that's random occurrences. You never know exactly where.
Yeah,
she's
but
gonna
Right,
be.
yeah.
I'm talking about specifically that demo.
Yeah,
That demo is very telegraphed, and it's creepy. And I've seen people screaming like little girls. Essentially, they were little girls in the streams. But I don't know how you can be that scared by that one because I don't find it that scary. Maybe we're faking a little bit for the audience sake. I don't know, but I didn't find it that scary. I find it more very creepy. That I did. And also, the big thing that kind of ruined it for me is that it's literally linear. Like the doors that you're not supposed to take are
Yeah.
closed.
yeah.
So you basically walk through it, and you need to hide and seek when there is this old lady that's coming at you. But that's it. So it wasn't very enthusing for me. We'll have to see in the future. What was the other question? Sorry, because I can't read the questions.
No, it's no problem. The other question is
That's
which headset did they use for the PSVR? Were they showcasing the new Platinum headset with it?
I have no idea actually, because there is a reason for that.
Okay.
Because when they put the PSVR on you, they put the PSVR on your face first, and then they put the headset on your ears, so you don't
Right.
see which one it is unless you actually
Right,
go
yeah.
and look at it. And I
Yeah.
didn't. So honestly, I have no idea. Sorry about that. You can possibly notice if you go to our PlayStation to our Boot Girls photo article. You can check it out, and since I took a lot of pictures of the girls at PlayStation's booth, that by the way, shout out to them because they were absolutely awesome. The ladies at PlayStation booth, they were knowledgeable. They knew everything about the game they were presenting. They all spoke English, which is really shows how much Sony actually went and selected them. They were beautiful, they were classy, they were great. They were literally between all the boot ladies, the boot companions, how they call them in Japan. They were the best because really they knew what they were talking about. They were able to explain in English, and it was great.
And
Anyway,
they had the best. I think they had the coolest outfits with the photo reflective.
oh yeah, they were
PlayStation
nice.
symbols.
Well, it depends on what you like. It depends on how much skin you like to see, I guess. They were definitely
That's fair. Fair comparison.
But what I was saying is that if you look at those pictures, there are a lot of pictures in the Sony booth, so you can see the PlayStation VR area, and you can see what kind of ads that possibly they are using by looking at the pictures on the background. So check there. Because unfortunately, honestly, I didn't check. I'm sorry about that.
All right, so I think that'll wrap up the questions for today. If you have any other burning questions, if you're listening to this via podcast service, just go to the comments and post it. We will answer it next week.
And also, otherwise, if you really have a burning question, just send it on Twitter, and I will respond to them as soon as possible. Like I really don't mind responding to question about the show. It was a lot of fun. I liked it. I have to say, this is my favorite show of the year, and it shows. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let's wrap everything up. Let's talk upcoming games for this coming week. Today's the 21st, so we're going to look through the 28th. Starting tomorrow, Severed is coming out on Wii U. Virginia is coming out PC, PS4, Xbox One. On the 23rd, Warhammer 40,000 Eternal Crusades coming out for PC. And on the 27th, we have a ton of games coming out. We have Shanti Half Genie Hero for 360 PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Vita, Wii U. Forza Horizon 3.
And my toaster.
Sorry?
And my toaster.
And your toaster. Ooh, yeah, yada, yada, yada. Forza Horizon 3 is coming out also that day. PC,
yes.
Xbox One. Go check out the review. Fantastic game. FIFA 17 for PC, PS4, Xbox One. Valhalla Hills for PS4 and Xbox One. Best game of the month, year, Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice for 3DS.
Oh god.
we will have a review out for that, so
I can just imagine what kind of score that's gonna get.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can imagine. Who's reviewing it?
Thomas. So,
oh, Thomas is nice. Maybe he's gonna be nice to it.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be a Sonic fan, as many people remember from last podcast. I used to be a Sonic fan.
But if he's a Sonic fan, it may be more cruel to it.
No, Lou is a different kind of Sonic fan.
It's a long story. We will discuss it later.
Let's move on.
Go listen to the last podcast. Also on the 27th, we got Steins Gate Zero for Vita.
Great one.
XCOM 2 for PS4, Xbox One. ATV Renegades for Xbox One. River City Tokyo Rumble for 3DS. Cluster Truck for PC. And the one that I have right here, Lick Sphere. Giuseppe, you're normally the person to show off the cool
The heck is that?
things.
The heck is that?
This is it's a game coming out for PC, PlayStation 4, and Vita, and it's basically a game where you are just throwing a lightsaber cross a spear at various hordes of zombies coming towards you by a small independent company, and they sent out this amazing press kit, which I'm gonna photograph and post on Twitter. But it's fantastic. It's got this whole retro style. It's sent out in the VHS tape. They sent it with a Japanese cartridge, which is cardboard.
Really?
Cardboard, but it has a USB slot, if you can see it. So if you plug it in, it's actually got the whole game. Yeah, it's one of the best ones I've ever seen. In my few years of working in the industry. So I'm very impressed. And that is all of the games coming out up until the 28th. And then next week we're getting into October. We are in the middle of review season, and
that's
all the
when
major
Game
releases.
Apocalypse really begins.
Oh, it's getting bad. It's getting bad on our end.
October is a crammed month.
Bad on my wallet.
Okay. Before we leave, I'm gonna leave you guys with another little anecdote from the show. Well, actually, from the post show, which is funny. So I'm just gonna leave it there as a funny end. So basically, yesterday, 2 days ago, actually, I went to. I actually didn't have time to give a developer his best platformer award, which went to Code Hardcore.
Yeah.
It's an indie game from a Japanese company. That's it's on Kickstarter now. If you want the mecha game, a mecha platformer, action platformer, that's absolutely fantastic. Go check it out on Kickstarter. Little plug, it's deserved. The name is Code Hardcore by Rocket Patch Game. So basically, what happened it was too funny. So I went there. We did a little interview. It was raining a lot. So after that, we said, "Oh, let's go to Akihabara and have a little fun." Me,
Yeah.
the director, and the interpreter. So let's go and see a little bit of mecha stuff because they're crazy for mecha like me. So we went to Akihabara, and it started pouring. We had a
Right.
typhoon. I was it was me, this developer, and the interpreter. We were pouring on us like it. Don't go to Akihabara with the developer. You gotta getting wet. It was like I never got this wet in Japan in my life. It was like
That's crazy.
real typhoon. It didn't hit Tokyo directly, so it hit more like the Osaka part of Japan,
Right.
but it rained a lot. So we were like there, like screaming like a little girl because we had an umbrella, but the wind was so strong that we
Yeah.
were hit by cold water all over the place. It was like running to places to get a little bit of shelter. It was funny. Anyway, if
All
you
right.
want to check the game out, check it out. We're gonna have an interview soon about that as well.
Fantastic.
Anyway, that's it. That was a little funny note to make you people laugh before we leave for today.
Can't wait to see that interview. So let's do the social
Well,
media, and
there is no rain in the interview part.
I'm sure.
It was
But
done in cafe, so that's okay. We weren't wet. We were
Right.
having some really nice coffee, by the way. It was pretty much the only good coffee I found in Japan for now.
right, and you are a coffee aficionado, so.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so social media and site plugs. If you're looking for us anywhere on social media, if it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can find us by just looking up DualShockers. Meanwhile, if you want to catch our YouTube videos, our video recordings of this, check out youtube.com/DSTV Originals. To come watch and be part of the show, join us every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We were a little late today. We're counting to Giuseppe Japan time. And will be normalized by next week. You can come join us at twitch.tv/DualShockers Live. We always read out the comments. We always love having people here. And I think we're going to start kicking in giveaways soon because we've been sitting on a few promotional copies of things. Finally, you can find our round-the-clock news coverage, reviews, features, and editorials over at DualShockers.com. Make sure you check out all the TGS coverage we did. We are...
And we are doing it.
As,
And we are like
Sorry?
in the future we also have a lot of it. We
yeah.
have a lot of TGS coverage. Also follow us on Twitter because you're gonna see a lot of gaming stuff from Japan more beyond TGS.
Right, absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, DualShockers is one of the first and foremost best sites if you're looking for Western TGS coverage. We are so all-inclusive of things, but of course I'm biased.
And you are so humble, really.
I'm
What's
a
this
little
order
biased.
of humility?
Okay,
so yeah. Let's go
anyway,
on.
thank you
That's
everyone for
goodbye.
joining. You can follow me at Luke Intaldi. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at
Ryan Weitzler.
all right.
My
and
name, don't wear it out.
Giuseppe, you can't show your cue card, so you're gonna actually have to say it.
Yeah, ABRIEL, I think, something like that.
Gabriel.
Well, just look for Giuseppe Nelva you'll find it, I'm sure. I'm sorry about that, but I had a weird nickname and I still have it.
Totally understandable. Okay, so let's go into the theme song. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for joining. See you next week.
Bye.